This is a sports catastrophe production.
Hey there, hello there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond welcoming you to another sports catastrophe on this day. And on this day, March 25th, 1936, a moment transfixed in time had happened. And you'd be thinking to yourself, what are you talking about? Simple. The 1936 season, the Detroit Red Wings, seen here, played the longest playoff game in history against the Montreal Maroons and all that. Anyway, the 1936 Detroit Red Wings were the best team in the American Division with 56 points in 48 games, taking care of Boston, Chicago, and the Rangers and all that. So anyway, the team that had Marty Berry, Herbie Lewis, Ebbie Goodfellow, and one great Normie Smith in the net basically played their hearts out and all that. Well, let's dive into the player stats. You had some good forwards. You had Marty Berry, who had 40 points in 48 games. Herbie Lewis, Larry Ulrey, whose number 6 was retired by the Red Wings, I think. Sid Howe, who came over from the St. Louis Eagles after they folded. Heck Kilray, Wally Kilray, I think they are relatives of Brian Kilray. Mike Bunetro, who played only 24 games and had 2 goals. More about him later. And Eddie Wiseman. On defense, you had Abby Goodfellow, Doug Young, Buckle McDonald, and Ralph Bowman. So they only played with 4 defensemen. Yikes. And goaltending was in the era that you usually have 1 goalie per team. And Normie Smith was pretty good. All that. So yeah, great times by the Red Wings. So the Red Wings are the best team in the NHL. Well, the NHL American League. So, Game 1, March 24th, 1936. Maroons and Red Wings would play each other at the Forum in Montreal. Now, before you say, wait a minute, the Maroons played at the Forum. Didn't the Habs play at the Forum? Yes, they did, but the Maroons were there first at the Forum, and then the Habs had to park their keisters 2 years later in there. So anyway, the Maroons and Red Wings would play at the Montreal Forum. It started at 8:30 p.m. and would end at 2:25 a.m. So basically, it would be just under 6 hours, if you will. The Wings and Maroons both couldn't score in regulation. So it was basically overtime. It was basically a defensive tussle. Relentless back-checking, stout work by the rifle defensemen, and basically the goaltenders were huge. Normie Smith and Lorne Chabot. The game would only have 9 penalties, 8 in regulation and 1 in overtime. The players would be exhausted with not much time in between overtime periods and all that. And basically, the system of trying to warm up your body with fluids and all that would change and all that. So they had to prod on. There was no way that they couldn't finish the game. So, officially, March 25th, 1936, at 2:25 a.m., the game finally ended. In the 6th overtime, 16 minutes, 30 seconds. So the 6th overtime would mean 116 minutes and 30 seconds of overtime. Rookie Mike Bunetro shot on the Maroons' net, and it actually jumped up over Lorne Chabot's foot and into the net. Bunetro would actually remain with the Red Wings until 1946, which was weird as it sounds. Normie Smith was basically what they called the Red Wings' the weakest link. But yeah, he got 90 shutouts during the NHL's longest shutout in history. The game with regulation lasted 176 minutes, 30 seconds. The Red Wings would then win Game 2 a couple of days later by winning 3-0. And goals by Sid Howe, Herbie Lewis, and Larry Ulrey. The Red Wings did give up a goal to the Maroons in Game 3 at home. And it was amazing how Normie Smith had that long shutout streak and all that. Maroons scored first, but John Sorrell and Ralph Bowman scored for the Red Wings. The Wings would go to the 1936 Stanley Cup Finals, and despite a Game 3 loss in Toronto, they won in Toronto in the best-of-5 Cup Final 3-2. So basically, the Red Wings won the Stanley Cup over the Leafs. This would not be the last time that the Red Wings would win the Stanley Cup, of course. But in hindsight, they won the next Stanley Cup in 1937 with a new goalie, Earl Robertson, who came in for an injured Norm Smith in the 37 playoffs and all that. The Red Wings were fantastic. They were a decent team in the 1930s. I think they were the only team in the 1930s to get back-to-back Stanley Cups. So yeah, Detroit was having fun. Jack Adams was having fun and all that. And then the Red Wings would soon move on to the 40s, 50s, and 60s with star players such as Ted Lindsay, Sid Abel, and Gordie Howe, of course, with Terry Sawchuk and a few other good defensemen. The Red Wings' last Stanley Cup was in 2008, winning on Pittsburgh ice, which is amazing. Detroit, since then, has been kind of awkward in the past few seasons. So anyway, yeah, the longest game in NHL history had ended on March 25th, 1936, 85 years ago. Wow, can you believe it? The second longest game was April 3rd to 4th, 1933, when the Leafs beat the Bruins in 6 overtimes as well. That's just to get to the Stanley Cup Finals. And the longest game in modern history since the original 6 era ended in 1967 was Flyers Penguins, Game 4 of their conference quarterfinal matchup. Or was it conference semis? I think it was quarterfinals. When Keith Primo it was semifinals. Keith Primo put in a shot in the 5th overtime. So yeah, length is everything. I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu.